In this video, I'm going to share 5 unconventional habits that you may not have thought of when it comes to making money. And these habits will help you smash past the 10K per month mark. Me changing these habits was the things that allowed me to get up to 6 figures. When I wasn't earning 6 figures online, I wasn't doing these things. And as soon as I started doing all of these things, my ability to earn more money became a lot higher, a lot better, a lot faster in quite a short space of time when I did these things. So I'm firstly not supposed to be sitting here in the morning with my morning cup of tea. It's like 8 a.m. and I woke up, I had things to do this morning, but I went to my fridge, and in my fridge, I opened my fridge and I saw a stack of food. There's 4 steaks, 2 packets of chicken, 3 salmon fillets, 2 big boxes of rice, all cooked, prepped and ready to go. And that is because last night the housekeeper was here, and this actually led me to think about one of the first habits that I'm going to share with you. And as I thought about this, I thought about what other weird little habits do I have, and that's essentially how I ended up sitting here on my roof with this beautiful background talking to you. So that first habit, and this is going to sound strange, but if you're not at 10K per month, and if that is the goal for you, you're probably somewhere, if you're probably at 8 or 9K per month, you're maybe doing a lot of these things well already, but there's a high likelihood you're probably somewhere between like 0 and 5K per month. Now, if you were at 0K per month and at 5K per month, there would be a little bit of a difference in terms of application of these rules and these things that I apply to my life. So let's start with the first one. And the first rule is to stop cooking and cleaning. And you might look at me and be like, what do you mean stop cooking and cleaning? But here's the reality. If you want to get really good at something, if you want to charge higher rates for your time, if you want to value your time, you cannot be continuing to do low leverage tasks all of the time. So what does that actually look like? Now, you have a few options, and complete transparency, I haven't always had a housekeeper. So especially at the start of the journey, that just wasn't an option for me. I couldn't afford to have a housekeeper. So what I did there was I didn't spend time cooking and cleaning. And essentially what I did was I would have batch cooked all of my meals on a Sunday for Monday through Friday. And a lot of you, if you're fitness coaches, maybe do this already, but it doesn't kind of stop there. You can take this a lot further. We're finding leverage here. And realistically, if you have somebody who's willing to come in and cook your food and work for minimum wage, or there's a meal prep company who will prep your food for you and you pay them an amount, if you can make more money with that hour of time, so say for example, if you spent an hour creating content or doing outreach or getting clients results, and that hour resulted in one more sign up to your program, that would be a lot more valuable to you than the 10 euro or the 15 euro that you saved by not having somebody coming in to cook and to clean. So for me right now, I have a housekeeper. She comes in for 6 or 7 hours on a Saturday. She does all of the cooking, all of the cleaning, all of the laundry, and then she comes back on Wednesday evening for another 3 or 4 hours. Sometimes she actually stays in the spare room because it's convenient for her. But essentially, I've got a system here where I don't actually have to do any of that stuff, and I let the stuff pile up a little bit. I don't keep the place messy. I still put my plates in the dishwasher and this kind of stuff. I don't live like a pig, but I'm not hanging clothes, I'm not changing bed sheets, I'm not mopping floors or any of this stuff, because frankly, I hate doing it. It's not a good use of my time. And if I seriously want to build a business and value my time, I just need to find somebody else. Now, for me, I'm paying my housekeeper double the minimum wage, and she is absolutely delighted. So for her, it's brilliant. And for me, it's brilliant because I can just offload all of these low leverage tasks. Now, if you are at the start of the journey, if you're at 0K per month, then potentially it's not an option for you to hire a housekeeper. And I don't actually recommend that you do, but definitely look at batch cooking. And then secondly, just look at the kinds of foods that you're eating. So for me, when I was trying to protect my time and I couldn't afford a housekeeper, I was actually, buying foods like tubs of Greek yogurt and bags of nuts and fruits and stuff that was basically just ready to just put in a plate or a bowl, or sometimes even eat straight out of the tub, I'll be honest. And very little cooking, very little cleaning time. I also was very effective with just, not overwearing, like not having more laundry that I needed and stuff, like just living quite a simplistic life, like same t-shirt, same shorts most days, and wash them every couple of days, but not getting them dirty or filthy. So I tried to minimize all of that workload as much as possible, and that allowed me to spend my time on the high leverage tasks that actually earn me money, that actually drive my business forward, and it essentially stopped me from wasting my time. And at some point, if you're a 5K a month, you should not be cooking or cleaning or doing laundry or any of these low leverage tasks. If you really want to grow, you have to start thinking like an entrepreneur, and you have to start looking around your life to other areas where you can start to basically take back your time. Another version of this is, people commuting. Like if you're commuting to meet a in-person client, and the client session is an hour and you've got a 20-minute commute either side just to make that hour, that's probably not even worth your time. Like you could be spending that time building the online side of your business as well. So just keep that in mind. The second thing is to stop reading and to start writing. And again, I've read a lot of books. I get a lot of value from reading. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I do consume a lot of information. But I think a big problem that I had myself, and I continue to struggle with at times, is just consuming more than I create, and taking in so many ideas and so much knowledge and so much info that I'm almost swamped with information and I don't actually know what to do with it. I have too much information at times, and unplugging, not consuming as much content, not reading as much, and actually trying to organize your thoughts and organize what you know, because the reality is you probably know a lot already to get you towards the goal that you have. If you are completely at the beginning of the journey, right? If you are at zero, you've never read a business book, you've never made a sale, like for sure, you should definitely consume some content around business, sales, marketing. Ideally, just get someone who can help you, because that's going to fast track the entire process. I have people that I mentor who literally go from never having a client in their entire life, never having even coached, to having a fully up and running fitness business in like 4 or 5 months, which is pretty insane. If you go to my Instagram and check the highlights, you'll see my client Alan. He's done that in the last few months and it's been absolutely nuts. So if that is you and you want some help, by the way, feel free to ask me about that and how I can help you with that. But essentially, we want to move away from this consumer behavior and towards creator behavior, and towards actually, looking at what you already know, putting that into a plan, putting that plan into action. And I think this video is actually a good example of this, because I woke up this morning, and usually I don't have my phone, but this morning I just broke my no phone rule, which sometimes happens. And I found myself actually consuming content, and then I got this kind of burst of creative energy to create, and I was like, okay, let me just go and create now, because I want to create more than I consume. I have value to share, and I want to formulate my thoughts. I wrote them down on a piece of paper, and once I had formulated those thoughts, then I decided to bring them here and share them with you in a video. So moving away from consumption and towards creation, even if that consumption feels like it's productive and beneficial. The algorithms right now are just getting better and better, right? AI algorithms, social media algorithms, they will feed you content which feels like it's helping you, and it feels like it's being productive, but it's stopping you from actually formulating your thoughts, taking the actions, and getting the results. So, if you read 5 books and just implemented everything from those 5 books, you wouldn't need to read 500 books. And that is, I think, a big mistake, where people spend too much time with procrastination or mental masturbation around actually doing the work that drives the business forward. So number 3, and this is a kind of funny one, but it's do more things that don't make you money. And what I mean by that is things that are long-term plays. So again, if we're in this for the long term, in the short term, you can hustle through the DMs, you can just hammer people with DMs, you can book sales calls, you can make sales. I've been there, I did it, but you can't grow for long. You'll run out of the ability to grow, you'll run out of happiness in your day-to-day, you'll get sick of it, and you'll essentially burn out and either not want to do it or just get stuck at the point that you're at. And you may already be at that point, because a lot of people who I speak to who are around 3, 4, 5K a month, they are hustling, but they're just not seeing the results because they don't have the right systems and skills and strategies to back up the hustle. So when I say do more things that don't make you money, I talk about things that don't make you money in the here and now. And that is building out systems, building out your messaging, thinking deeply about what it is that you want to be known for, how you want to come across, creating YouTube videos, building out email lists, VSLs, building out systems to manage clients, building out automations, building out content flows, having stuff that's going to work for you in the background that's going to reduce your workload. But that stuff takes a little bit of time to build, and it doesn't immediately generate returns, and you have to build it and iterate and see what works. And you need to spend time doing work that does not immediately bring you money in the short term, but in the long term starts to remove the workload and bring you more and more opportunity. So if you are just in that daily hustle of just posting content and DMing people on Instagram, just realize that that's never going to grow a business for you, because as soon as you stop doing that, your business stops growing. So if it's just post on Instagram and hustle, as soon as you stop posting on Instagram and hustling, your business stops. And do you want to post on Instagram and hustle for the rest of your life? By the way, I love posting on Instagram. I do it almost every day, but it's not because I absolutely need to. I have back-end systems, I have referral systems, I have ways of managing my clients where I have a lot of free time. I can bring new people on, I can make different kinds of offers, I have email systems, I have flows, I have all of these things that took some time to build, to be honest, and didn't really pay me up front. But the long-term value of those things makes you much more likely to, earn six figures and grow from there as well. So that is another unconventional rule. Spend more time doing things that don't make money. Non-conventional rule number 4, and this is so important because honestly I wasted so much time with this, but again, on a long-term time frame, it turned out to be the right thing. So this is date a lot of people. And again, if you're at 0K per month, you have no money, you can't bring somebody out for a nice date, you can't, you're worried and stressed about finances, don't even know where you're going, you don't have your shit together, probably don't be too focused on dating. But the reason I say date a lot of people is because you are looking for that one person, and let's be real, there's not just one person who's going to align with you. There's many people who could potentially align with you, but you might have to genuinely date 200 people to find the person who changes the entire trajectory of your life. And my personal experience, for 10 years pretty much, I have been single, more like 12 years up until very recently. And that was always a choice. It wasn't that I couldn't have been in a relationship. It wasn't that, there wasn't any options or anything like that, quite the contrary. But I knew that I didn't want to get into a relationship with anyone who I didn't see as being the person who would help me to essentially achieve all of my goals. Now, here's the caveat. For the last 12 years, and even before that, but 12 years since my previous girlfriend, I spent most of my time out enjoying life, socializing, talking to girls, going on dates, running parties, running events, having a very, very active dating and social life. A lot of chaos. It definitely in the short term cost me a lot of time and effort and money, of course, as well. But in the long term, if you just settle, I think really what I'm saying here is don't just settle for the first person who you can settle for. Like, find the person who actually is going to support you. And I have lots of people who I know in my life who are in relationships where they are not supported and they don't feel like they can actually go and work on the thing. I am very fortunate and very grateful to have the most supportive relationship I could possibly have imagined. I get kicked out of bed in the mornings to come up here and create YouTubes or to go to work, and I am so fully supported. Even in a couple of weeks' time, I'm going away to the UK for a mastermind, and there's no problems with this. It's like, go, do it, do your thing. And I wouldn't have got that from everybody. So I think, again, in the long term, date a lot of people to find the right person. Know what you will tolerate and what you won't tolerate. And realistically, if you want to build a successful business, you need a supportive partner, because the right partner in your life is going to help you to build that business up and to enjoy the process and to have an incredible life. And someone who's not supportive or doesn't want you doing that or is negative around your business is going to make your life misery. So be really, really careful on who you choose to partner up with. And this is not relationship advice, but it is business advice. My business over the last 10 months since I've been in a relationship has just drastically changed. It's drastically changed. My outlook on life has drastically changed. My long-term thinking has drastically changed. My meaning and purpose, because I have the right person with me, has drastically changed as well. So that is something to be really, really careful of. And look, realistically, if you're at the start of the journey, it's going to be hard for you to maybe attract the person who you want to have by your side. And you might have to do some work. You might have to build yourself up. You might have to build yourself up physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. Like you might have to become the person who can attract this kind of a partner. So if you're looking for a partner who is a very high level partner, you have to be a very high level partner. And if you're at zero, well, maybe you don't date right now and you just focus on building yourself up. But when you get to the point where you can date a lot of people, you can meet a lot of people, it's very easy for you to have dates and to have, potential partners come into your life. And your problem is not, oh, I can't find a partner, but your problem is who is the right fit. I have too many options. I don't know who the right fit is. And that point will come as you build yourself up. Then you need to be very, very careful that you pick the right person, and you're picking based on long-term values, and you need to essentially meet a lot of people to kind of get a gauge for what's out there and who your options are. So that's kind of weird one that I wouldn't normally talk about, but I'm throwing that in because it's important. And finally, I have these written down. I've forgotten the last one. Finally, yeah. Again, a little bit counterintuitive. This one is super, super important. Spend more money, but I don't mean on clothes and bullshit. I mean, spend more money on things that are actually going to give you a ROI. So mentorships, masterminds, and I differentiate these from books and podcasts and things like that, because these are things where you're actually doing work and getting feedback. So it's different to just consuming. If you're in a mentorship or a mastermind, you're actually doing the work as you get the content. So you're actually being held accountable to make things happen. And I'm going to the UK in a couple of weeks' time. I mentioned for a mastermind, it probably going to cost me about €1,000 to attend a one-day mastermind, because I had to change a flight. I had to cancel a flight, which I didn't get my money back for. I had to book 3 new flights, had to book 2 nights accommodation, and had to extend my holiday by a week in order to actually make this mastermind. So I'm effectively paying about €1,000 to go to a one-day mastermind. But I know that not only the knowledge, because the knowledge is one thing, but a lot of the knowledge I already have, because I've been in this mastermind ongoing for some time, the energy and the motivation and the drive and the excitement that I will bring back from that mastermind is going to have massive impacts on my business. And getting in that environment with the right people, getting in environments that help you to level up. The only things I really spend money on, I like to spend money in where I live, in a nice place. I always spend money on my apartment. I don't spend money on clothes, like these are, I don't know, 30 euro shackets, 15 euro t-shirt. Like I don't spend expensive money, or don't spend money on expensive clothes. The watch is not that expensive. I bought it many years ago. It's an old watch. I have it for 10 years, so it's not like a recent purchase or recent flex or anything like that. Really, the only thing that I spend money on are travel, where I live, and my own self and business development. That's really it. And of course, I spend money on maintaining my relationship and doing nice things with my partner. But I think it's really, really important to spend more money on the right things. Now, if you're spending money on clothes to impress other people, but it doesn't actually change the way that you feel. Like most of the time, people wearing these very fancy Gucci clothes, most of the time it's kind of insecurity, or they're trying to look wealthy, or they're trying to kind of show off to other people. Anyone I know who's truly successful, most of them just wear like white t-shirts and black t-shirts and pants. They don't wear like these high-end branded clothes, and most of the time that's kind of a status signal for people who don't have status. So when I say spend more money, I've just spilled my tea because I'm so excited about this concept and I believe so deeply in it. But when I say spend more money, it's very important that you spend money on something that's going to ROI. Now for me, travel might not necessarily financially ROI, but it's the life that I want to live. I feel good. It helps me to have new ideas. It's important for me. It nourishes my soul. Most of the time I like to work a little bit when I travel as well, because I have a lot of creative energy and I have ideas, and I don't feel the need to work, but I really love my work. I love what I do. So, when I travel, I'll probably whip out the camera and have a YouTube video in the next 4 or 5 weeks. I've quite a bit of travel coming up. So yeah, spend more money on things that actually ROI for your life experience, for improving the quality of your health, your relationships. That's something else I didn't mention, which I should have. I do spend a lot of money on my health, so I buy a lot of supplements. I pay for a good gym membership. I eat high quality food. I never buy cheap food. My food bill is like €200 a week because it's all high quality food. But that's essentially that's the thing that makes me feel good and perform my best. And then investing into myself in terms of masterminds and mentorships and getting around people who are at a higher level and learning from them. That is absolutely invaluable. So yeah, that's it. Go lock those 5 habits in and watch your bank account and business grow.